Good evening to my fellow Hebrew Israelites, what's known as African Americans, and to the rest of humanity. Let me begin by saying that to whom much is given, much is expected. To whom much is given, much is expected. Because the more you give to a person, the more you expect out of them. That's why you give them more. Everything has a reason. When I look at the murder of Tyre Nichols by black men, and I look at the disrespect of black women toward their fathers, sons, and brothers, I see the reason for the curse. You are violating the 10 commandments. You are violating the 10 commandments. As a messenger of God, I have an entire video that explains the 10 commandments and how it is violated. I have also included a video of the chapters in the Bible that explains our diet. That would be the diet of the Jews. I want you to understand something. The 12 tribes were not a religious cult. Judaism is a cult. The 12 tribes are the chosen people. There is a difference. Understand this. Jesus was a Jew, and he was killed by the men who created Christianity and usurped his teachings for the purpose of exploitation and colonization. That is the history of the Vatican, which also supported slavery. There is no excuse for black people who read the Bible to be anything but a Jew and acknowledge the fact that they are a Jew. Why are you going to Bible study if you are not going to follow the teachings in the Bible? Deuteronomy 28 explains clearly that the curse was slavery. Why do you not acknowledge the fact that you are a Jew? In the Bible, in Revelations 2:9 and Revelation 3:9, it tells you that the people in Israel are usurpers and they worship in the synagogue of Satan. Therefore, the Bible has told you that you are the Jew of the 12 tribes and has told you that the people in Israel are usurpers and worshipers of Satan. In fact, they sold us into slavery. They say that history repeats itself. Well, history only repeats itself if you do not learn from history. But when you have the tools to learn from history, there is no excuse. I am not the smartest man in the world, but I am second to none when it comes to common sense and reading and understanding what I read. When I read something, I do not disavow it. I research it if there is doubt, because truth builds up. Truth builds up. The young men, Hebrew Israelites, that beat up and murdered another Hebrew Israelite, violated the Ten Commandments. But you see, they wanted to be deluded. They desired the delusion because the delusion they felt gave them power. But they didn't realize how they were set up. First, they penetrated their mind by calling them the Scorpion Unit. It's like a cartoon. We're in the Scorpion Unit. That touched their ego. Then the powers to be, who created systemic racism, allowed them to abuse who? To abuse their own people. They became conditioned. They knew they couldn't do the same thing to Caucasians, but they ignored that because they were enjoying the delusion. There was a white officer also involved in the altercation who stomped and tased Mr. Nichols. Well, guess what? The 5 black men, they fired and put charges on them the first night. The white man who was involved, it took a couple days before they said, oh yeah, he was there too. But did they fire him? No. They put him on administrative leave, which is a signal to all white police that if you do this, there is still the possibility of you getting away. It is okay for you. And if we are forced to put this man in jail, then he is just what's called collateral damage, or he's a victim of friendly fire. These black officers, Hebrew Israelites, they were enjoying the delusion. They broke God's commandments, which is why we were cursed in the first place. Black women who refuse to be a helpmate to black men are violating the 10 Commandments. They are delusional. They know they are not as strong as a man. I may not be the smartest person in the world, but when it comes to common sense, I am second to none. I will not delude myself into believing lies perpetrated in the matrix. I am a glitch in the matrix. And any Hebrew Israelite, once called African American, who realizes that he is a Jew and embraces that, is a glitch in the matrix. They are a glitch in the matrix because they refuse to allow their ego to be deluded with lies. And while I am on the subject of black women and their delusion, they are fighting for supposedly feminist rights. But how can you fight for feminist rights if you have never had equal civil rights? You have not had civil rights, so how can you fight for feminist rights? You are not in the same playground as white women. You see, you, like the men in blue, are black. Before you are anything else, you will be recognized as and treated as black. So how can you fight for feminist rights when you don't even have civil rights? It makes no sense. I want you to understand something. The only power that evil has are lies and deception. Lies and deception. How do you overcome lies and deception? You do it with common sense. Common sense defeats lies and deceptions. But what do lies and deceptions try to play on? They try to play on your ego. They play on your ego. They tell you what you want to hear. And if you have no willpower, you fall prey to the deception and you become entrapped in the matrix, which is a false reality. Truth is what knowledge is based on. Knowledge is based on truth. Truth to the mind is what food is to the body. Truth to the mind is what food is to the body. Truth, like immortality, does not change. Hebrew Israelites, we are a spiritual people. We are not a religious people. We are a spiritual people. Spirituality is based on and in truth. Truth is knowledge. When you search out the truth, you free yourself from the matrix. In essence, you become a glitch in the matrix. And I'm going to tell you something. The reason why we're in the situation we're in is because it is of choice. We have made the choice to be subservient and obedient to those who are not superior to us. We have made ourselves inferior, mentally inferior, when we are superior. I'm going to tell you something. Everything Caucasians blame us, or should I say, accuse us of doing, they do. There's a book out that's called The Delectable Negro. It's about how they ate us. There are signs and pictures which show how they used black babies for alligator bait. They have created critical race theory. Why? Because they are embarrassed by their history. Their history is not our history, but they want our history. That's why Israelis pretend to be Hebrew Israelites, but they are Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews leading the world in skin cancer because their bodies cannot handle the temperature in Israel. See, you can only, because you deluded yourself into thinking that you are God's chosen people, nature says otherwise. But I'm telling you this now. Hebrew Israelites, stop going to Bible study and pretending like you studying the Bible when you're not. Deuteronomy 28 has been in the Bible since the beginning of time. And you telling me you don't know that you a Hebrew Israelite? Revelations 2:8, Revelations 2:9, Revelations 3:9. You mean to tell me you don't know that the people in Israel are usurpers and that they worship in the synagogue of Satan? You don't know that? And how long? And you've been reading the Bible how long? Look, my post is to warn you all. Is to warn you all, not just Caucasians, but it is to warn Hebrew Israelites that are breaking God's 10 commandments. That are breaking God's 10 commandments and are choosing to be delusional. Those 5 black men who beat that man, they chose to be delusional. Black women who refuse to be a helpmate to black men, they are choosing to be delusional. They enjoy being in the matrix. And when they get older, and when these women hit their 40s, all of a sudden they want a family. And they realize they've been played. Well, I'm going to tell you now, God is coming. God is coming. I suggest you follow the 10 commandments and you follow the diet and recognize and throw away Christianity and religion and be what you were born to be. Spiritual people. Spirituality is who we are. I am a messenger of God. But I want you to understand one thing right now. Have you heard the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? You're not supposed to. You're just supposed to let it know where the water is. My message to you is I am supposed to lead you to the truth. I am not supposed to force you to accept it. My job is to present it to you. And then you decide whether or not you want to drink from the fountain of truth. You see, God has given you free will. God has given you free will. Atheists believe that they tell God what to do. And if God does not meet their standards, then God does not exist. We are grains of sand in the universe, and we have no right telling the creator of the universe what is right and what is wrong based on our so-called standards. I'm going to tell you this. God is coming. there will be retribution. And I suggest to Caucasians that you try to pay reparations in some kind of way and get on your hands and knees and ask for forgiveness. And the same goes for Black Hebrew Israelites who has not followed the 10 Commandments. You're in that same boat. That is my message to you. Like and subscribe. Check out my videos. I got over 100-something videos. So if you have a particular question or problem, you should find a video in there that will help you out. All my videos are based on facts. And I also leave facts where I got the information from so that you can research it. But the simple fact of the matter is, think with your mind, not with your brain. Think with your mind. Your brain has a function to govern your body. Your mind is your spirituality. And that should govern your body, period. That should govern your whole essence. It should govern your intellect as well as your body. With that, God be with you. Like and subscribe. My job is done.